Suggestibility test number 2, either magnetic fingers or the finger vise. It's the same thing. This is another classic suggestibility test, and I recommend you go to this one second because it has a very high success rate. What I'm going to do is have the person interlock their fingers, have their first fingers upright like this. So when they squeeze their hands together as I'm talking, then when they lift these fingers up, the fingers will already start tending to pull in together. I'll tell them to keep their fingers separated, to stare at their fingers in the space between them, and now I will either say, imagine they're magnetic and pulling together, and they're watching, and I say your fingers will touch, or I will say, and I'm going to wind your fingers together like there's a vise pulling them together, and I'll maybe go like this on each side of their hands, or I'll wind it in from the top, some sort of action. In this one, their eyes are open, and this also, according to Dr. Krasner, shows them that they can be hypnotized with their eyes open. It's sending that subtle message to them. Now, the alternative is instead of squeezing, doing it like this, you can do it this way. It's not quite as effective, but it still works. Knuckles touching, fingers up straight. The advantage of this one is the fingers are further apart. So the motion in that, you'll get more of this sort of thing happening, and it's really obvious when it works. It's not quite as effective as this one because in this one, the fingers have much more of a likelihood of pulling together. So whether you say it's a magnetic force, or whether you say the fingers are being wound together or tightened with a vise, see what results you get. It's another really good one, and at the end of it, tell them they're an amazing hypnotic subject. Here we go. Chris, interlock your hands, and you can put your feet together, compliance set, and extend your first fingers up straight and stare at the space between your fingers. And as you do, I want you to imagine that a magnetic force is winding them together like this. And as they wind together and twitch, they suddenly touch. That's right. You can put your hands down. Your fingers are totally normal again. You're an excellent hypnotic subject. Now let's show how you can do the finger vise.
Sure.
Again, he does the same thing, fingers up straight. Now, there's already a predisposition for them to start tiring and pulling together, so I'm pausing here. That's increasing it. And now this time, I'm going to do the finger vise and wind them in like this. And as they tighten up and pull together, you can feel that force increasing. My personal favorite is the winding it from the top. I like that. And you can release those. They're back to normal again. Release the suggestion. Remove it again. Try the one with your knuckles touching. If they do this one, now notice they're further apart. So we pause for a second. I'm talking, saying, I want you to imagine this force is building up. We want them to start to tire a bit. And as I wind them together, you can feel the fingers magnetized, pulling together. That's right. And we're doing exactly the same thing. And eventually they touch together. If they don't touch them together yourself to break that state. So if, say they're almost touched, and he's gotten they're almost touched or something like this, I say, excellent. Your fingers are normal again. I'll make him think he's succeeded at it, even if they barely moved. I'll act as though that is totally what I expected. And that's part of your hypnotic power here. They don't know that they have to absolutely touch for it to be a success. You're not going to tell them. So you get any motion and you smile as though that was exactly what you expected, and you touch them together and say, you're an excellent hypnotic subject. Your fingers are back to normal again.